It all happened so fast. And then I hit a wrong button. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brian Thomas, and this is our journey into all the strange, wonderful world of the unexplained, the unknown, the weird stuff. That's where we live. And if you're a little weird, you're in the right place. You are family. Hi, HB Girl to you over on Rumble, popping in. She's the first one in the door over in Rumble. And we got several over here on YouTube. And I'm going to just say hello to as many as I can quickly. Chucky's here, Kitty Caddywhack, Paranormal Paul is here. Got to watch his channel when you're thinking, hey, I need some paranormal. Head over and check out Paul. He's doing a great job. Bogart's here. John Stevenson is here. Breathe. Kitty Caddywhack again. She pops up all over the place. Love it. T-Bone is here. Good to see you. Rachel Gets It Right is here. Now I'm scrolling. Got to be a little careful. I got names I've named already. I'm just going through the list. You know what? I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to pull up the participants here rather than try to scroll and make sense out of what I'm reading. BJ Lapierre is here. Bogart is here. Chasing Mound Builders is here. Chucky Danger, Dale Atkinson, Deborah Neighbors, Jem Gwynn, John Stevenson, Kitty Caddywhack once again. Paranormal Paul, I'm here. Rachel Gets It Right is here. T-Bone and Vince Sanchez. So those are the ones that are in here chatting, not necessarily the only ones here, but the ones that are talking. So if you want to shout out, say hello, T-Bone rolling it hard right off the beginning. My God, brother. Whew. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Who got the gifted memberships? T-Bone gifted, man. T-Bone gifted 10 memberships to the channel. Let's see who got them. Happy Girl 1 got one. Jamie Hawkins got one. As did Catherine Fourfeathers. You got one. Congratulations. Stephen Weishaupt got one. Exploring the Cow with Ra Castaldo. As my brother Ra, he's got to get back on this show. We keep batting it back and forth, but Ra's been a fantastic longtime friend and has been on the podcast several times. Ra's a great guy. And on the live show, I think. So he's been all the place. Semantic Blockage is in here. That's a great name. Semantic Blockage. I've got some blockage going on in my head, let me tell you. Christopher Calabrese is here and got a membership, as did JG Rotten Runt. And Yolanda Khan and Free Your Mind 2C is here. So there we go. Congratulations to all 10 of you. You're now honorary 1-month members of the channel. Special thanks to T-Bone for making it all happen. That's really cool. And Brent, is the Ghost Raider on? Well, what would I do without you? Hi, Laura Tharp. Good to see you over on Twitch. Popping in and saying hello. Thank you so much for being here. I'll turn on the Ghost Raider, though. You're right. It's not on, so I have to do that now, don't I? It is the 16th of August, so I'll just type that in there. August 16. Ghost Radar is on. Chasing Mound Builders rolling in with a $9.99 donation. God bless you. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Ra handcrafts a lot of really cool energy things, copper jewelry and crystals and stuff. So yeah, check out Ra's offerings if you get a chance. Some beautiful stuff, some crystal skulls that are really cool. Love to get one of those for the studio here someday, as soon as I get an allowance from doing this. But until then, I'm just loving the job and bringing you the best entertainment I know how. So get onto the show, I guess. I want an iron bracelet. Iron, that would rust, wouldn't it? Wouldn't iron rust? I don't know. I don't know much about jewelry. I thought that it would oxidize if it's in touch with your skin for a long time. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But good luck getting an iron bracelet, I guess. It should protect you from the Fae, but you never know. Anyway, if you got problems with Fae, I'm just saying, maybe you do. So, Paul says, better than getting an iron lung. Yeah, I guess a bracelet's better than a lung in that case. True. Unless you need an iron lung, then you probably wouldn't really have much use for a bracelet. Just saying. We got a lot to get to. Obviously, we're going to be getting to the news. Chris Bearwin coming in from the Facebook saying hello. I got the hat on. You're right. Yep. I decided to cover the hair. I mean, it's kind of a rat's nest. You can see what I deal with. I mean, it's probably not really noticeable, but it's been smashed down by a hat for a while now. So it's kind of tame, but I just didn't feel like Showing all that sexy hair 2 shows in a row. I don't know. What would you do? Might not be able to contain yourselves. Or, that's my story and I'm sticking with it. So we're going to get to the news, as I said, and then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. Chucky's not with me tonight to read it, but he's going to be joining us probably next Saturday. And he can read his question of the week then for next week. I feel naked not wearing a hat. It's not so much a hat, it's the rest. You got to focus on the rest of it, not just the hat. So if you only get a hat on and you feel okay with it, that's maybe not all the way there. Just make sure you got pants and shirts on too while we're at it. This is a family show after all. I'm just saying, every lawyer's advice. All right. So, what else was I going to say? And then we'll get to the, what the hell is that? I got some cool stuff. Rachel sent me a few things. I'll show a couple of things she sent on Instagram. And Chucky sent me one that we didn't cover yet, so we're going to cover that as well as the ghost photos. And then we'll wind it up with the cryptid corner. So we got a whole roster of fun ahead of us here on the show. And I hope you stick around for the whole thing. So I'm just saying. Excuse me. A little water burp. Get those too. Hi, Dog Digger over in Rumble, popping in. Good to see you, brother. Haven't seen the Barbara yet. Where's the Barbara tonight? Hope she's okay. Actually, a little bit of popping news. There is a forest fire near here in the town of Sago, which is just a little bit south of us, and you can see this huge plume of smoke heading up from behind the mountains, and it's like, oh, God. That's the one part about living here that's really, I don't know, it's kind of agonizing, because I'm very much a nature spirit at heart, and there's like a serious dry spell all winter or all summer long here. During the summers, they're very hot, and they are dry. And these being conifer forests, I'm here to tell you, you could pass gas wrong and probably start a forest fire up here. I mean, it's just really, really volatile, and it really breaks my heart to see all those beautiful forests go up in flames. But it just happens. I don't know. It's kind of the way it works up here. But John Temperance, maybe I'll send a pic, Brent. Of what, John? What are we talking about here with pics? I'm just saying, make sure there's nothing that'll get me in trouble. Just kidding. Vancouver broke a 133-year rain record yesterday. Oh, interesting. BJ Lapierre says, iron bracelet repelling negative energies. In some traditions, particularly those involving cold iron believed is to repel ghost, fairies, witches, and other malevolent supernatural creatures. Well, so will like hematite. I wear pumice and hematite. Those work pretty good. And obsidian. Any dark stone will allegedly repel negative energies and spirits. I don't know if that's exactly true, but I don't know. I do it anyway, just in case. I kind of believe it, but I think it all depends on what you believe. I mean, I think there's power in faith. And so if you believe something is true, then it is true for you. Like, I firmly believe that if you believed you had, and I've used this example through the history of the show, but I really believe this is true. If you believed you had a piece of cheese that was absolutely sacred and powerful with divine energy, you could exorcise demons with it. I mean, there's something about faith that empowers these things. I don't think they are in and of themselves. Maybe they do have some resonant energy, but I think we multiply it. We are the force multiplier in that equation. So, yeah, absolutely. Crystal quartz, that's a good energy multiplier. Yeah. Black tourmaline in my necklace. There you go. I'm just saying, I have cheese. I love cheese, for the record. That's maybe why I use that example all the time. But it's just my opinion. Am I right? I don't know. I might be. That's my theory anyway. I didn't need to know that, Paul. I could have gone all night without knowing that. But thank you. We should maybe screen chat a little better. Even other show hosts. So anyway, I'm just saying, yeah, there's power in belief for sure. There is power in belief. So we got a lot to get to, and by God, we're going to do that. So buckle up, folks. We're going in. We're going to hit some da news. It's time for the news. Old School Barry's here. How you doing, brother? Good to see you over there. I also wear hematite rings. Wow, you got a lot of protection then, BJ. I saw, who said they were wearing tiger's eye? Somebody said, oh, Bogart says that. Got tiger's eye in these necklaces, or in these bracelets, right? And this one has some tiger's eye. I think tiger's eye is a real powerful one, personally. I used to have a lot of issues around Mercury being in retrograde. I don't know what it was, and I didn't even know what my issues were, but I just started noticing, hey, Mercury's in retrograde. Oh, things are going to hell. Now, I will say, when is Mercury not in retrograde? Just for the record, I found out that that's like every other week Mercury's doing that crap, so I wish it would knock it the hell off, but tiger's eye. I have the tiger. Different kind of tiger there, Hoop Oracle. I got a whole story of that song, and it drove me nuts. I used to love it, but then I didn't love it anymore. But it's a long story. Maybe has nothing to do with paranormal. Just anyway, yeah, I have the tiger. Every time I see that come up, it's just like, oh, I get those willies, those chills, and it's not supernatural, not paranormal, but yeah, just suffice it to say that that song was way overkilled for me. Maybe you have some interest in Mercury placements in your natal chart. Probably. I don't know that much about astrology. Could be. I don't know. I was born on May 1st, so at about 12 something in the morning, and it was in the year that we landed on the moon, that people walked on the moon. That's all the hints you're getting. Hi, Amy Creel. Good to see you. I think Mercury left retrograde within the last couple of days. Thank God. Thank God, Amy. I'm just sick of it. Sick of it being in retrograde. I wish it would get its crap together and just get into grade. I don't know if that's really a word, but it is today. Welcome to the news part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, as we dive into news stories from different sources, usually one source, though. I just got to remind you all, I utilize a lot of different sites throughout the course of this show. Please support them. Please visit them. Please give them your love, because these sites are extraordinary and they are very, very well done. And I just want to drive as much traffic to them all as I can. I love these sites. They have been incredible for resources, and they are doing it really, really well. So please support these sites. Your traffic does equal revenue for these different web addresses, and it helps to pay their bills. So please visit them, whether you're watching a show or not. And oftentimes I'll put links into the chat from stuff that we are covering. Taurus. What the hell, Wes? What the hell's wrong with the Taurus? Huh? I'm just saying. Man, way to hate. I like being a Taurus, okay? I like Taurus. It's because I am one. What if I self-loathed myself? Oh, I'm a Taurus. I hate that. That would be really weird. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the news, folks, and see what the hell I pulled up tonight, because I'm not sure I even remember. I think I got to pull it over to the right here, get it framed up. I think this should do it. First off, we're heading to unexplained-mysteries.com, folks, where we're going to explore some space and astronomy news. You might not have heard this before today, but today's your lucky day. So let's get to this. I got to see. Yeah, I still got Sheldon's camera up. I did not shut that off last night. Here we go. There, it's just me. All right, so here we go. Generational ship Chrysalis would take 400 years to reach the nearest star. So I guess you're the thing is, if you jump on a ship like this, you are making life choices for the next 5 generations of your family. So what if they don't want to be there? 400 years is a lot of time to commit, especially when it's not just you making that commitment. Now, if they could cryo freeze people like they do in the Alien movies, like they put them in the freezer and go like 15 light years or 100 light years or whatever, and then they land or they get there and then they thaw you out and you're good to go. Well, it's your choice. But can you make that choice for like 5 generations of your family or more? It's like, man, that's a pretty self-centered point of view. Hey, Gates, okay, my grandkids are going to be shitting ground on this. My great-great-great-grandkids. There you go. Way to call it for the whole tree. All right, let's check out this. See what it says. A prize-winning hypothetical spacecraft could be the key to enabling humans to colonize distant worlds. And what if all your offspring are like really big underachievers? So like they're not motivated to do anything except surf YouTube and play video games. Like this spacecraft going across the cosmos with a bunch of underachievers on it. That's like the worst case scenario. Anyway, imagine boarding a spacecraft alongside 2,400 other people to embark on a 400-year journey that'll take you to a destination situated more than 25 trillion miles away. Well, this is the idea behind Chrysalis, a hypothetical spacecraft designed to make it possible for humans to reach distant, potentially habitable exoplanets such as Proxima Centauri b. It says, forget suspended animation or faster than light travel, though. Chrysalis would work by harboring multiple generations in a self-contained society that would need to endure for centuries. When the ship finally arrived, those on board would be the descendants of those who boarded. Yikes. It's like the Enterprise from hell. The moral implications are many. Imagine being born into one of the middle generations, doomed to spend your entire life aboard a ship with no hope of ever seeing Earth and no hope of living long enough to reach the vessel's destination. Could social cohesion be maintained under such circumstances? Could we assume that multiple generations will actually cooperate and accept without choice the fate they were born into? My point exactly. Would you join such a mission knowing that its success hinges entirely on the total commitment of your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and beyond? And what would happen if upon reaching Proxima Centauri b, it turned out the planet wasn't suitable to colonize? What if there was a critical technical fault halfway through the journey? Well, then what are you going to do? You guys aren't going anywhere. The risks and commitment of joining such a mission are almost beyond imagining. So, question being, I mean, I can understand that for me, it would be cool to just jump on a ship and go see the stars, but I couldn't do it knowing that I was basically chaining the next several generations of my lineage to that life. Like, I'm choosing for everybody. Too bad. You know, you just drew the short straw on the gene pool right now. I don't know. I don't know what that means or how that would work, but it sounds like kind of a crappy deal. Only if I bring my dog, Bogart says. Fair enough. I think a dog could help. Maybe a dog and some cats for the cat lovers. I'm just saying. Yeah. You need those emotional support animals probably for that kind of journey. But there you go. First story. Something to ponder. I wouldn't do it. Not if they're driving that slow. If they can get there in 15 minutes, I'll hop on. Sure. Go see what's out there. But until they get that warp stuff figured out, I'll be right here. I'm good. All right, that was the first story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but there's always more. There's two more. Here we go. I don't know about this. This is brand new. At least the suggestion of it is brand new to me. I don't know where this discussion is coming from, but there must have been a discussion about it somewhere. And here we go. From unexplained-mysteries.com, Capitol Hill rumors suggest 4 alien species are piloting UAPs. I didn't get that memo at all. Did you guys? I didn't get it. Well, I can see where that whole tourist thing comes from, Wes. That's understandable. I understand. I've had my soul crushed by a few other. I think mine are. I think Aries was one of my train wrecks. I can't remember if Gemini was or not. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't really know zodiac stuff too well, but I know one of them was an Aries, and she was a pistol. So, all right, let's go to the next one. This one about aliens. Apparently, four different species. I don't know when this discussion happened, but I didn't even get the cliff notes. Politicians and scientists alike have been debating the claim that there are 4 types of aliens visiting Earth. First of all, what do politicians know about much of anything? No offense to politicians, but it's not like they're extraordinarily qualified with anything other than personality. You know, these are just normal people that manage to talk and they're very eloquent speakers, but that doesn't create like true statesmen or you know, wisdom in what they say. Most of the politicians are actually bricks. I mean, honestly, they're not usually in in most cases, they're not usually worth the suit they're wearing. And I'm not like a hater, but I also recognize that these are just normal people. It's like saying I'm gonna hire Keanu Reeves because I need some personal security. It's like he might, I think he's probably a pretty capable guy. He's done a lot of training, but I don't think I would put him on SEAL Team 6 or something, So these are not necessarily the great thinkers of our world as far as politicians. But let's see what it says. This peculiar line of debate began back in May when, during a briefing about UAPs, physicist Dr. Eric Davis, who's reportedly worked on classified projects for the Pentagon, brought up the notion that extraterrestrial entities come in 4 types: Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. These creatures, he argued, were potentially piloting the UAPs being seen in the skies over the U.S. These same 4 species were brought up again last week by Missouri Rep. Eric Burleson, a member of the House Oversight Committee, during the Endless Void with Kristen Fisher podcast. I've heard these 4 classifications discussed in meetings in this office by others, he said. But what I wasn't expecting was for him to say it. I wasn't expecting Eric Davis, respected scientist, to say that. If true, this would be a paradigm-shifting moment, but if it is true, the government has no right to keep such secrets from the public it serves. The idea that there are multiple different species of alien visiting Earth is not actually a new one, clearly. The 4 types listed and others have been referenced multiple times over the last few decades. At least some of them are based on the testimonies of alleged alien contactees. Exactly where Dr. Eric Davis heard about them, however, remains unclear. The source of that was Mashable, so I don't know. I think that is possible. I don't know. Hell, I always considered the possibility that when you see different craft, like, we see these saucers, and then you see like the triangle craft, and then the obligatory cigar-shaped craft and stuff, that maybe the different shapes and styles of craft represent different sources of, people that built them or creatures that built them, if you will. Like, I don't know whose is whose, but I always considered that was a possibility. Like, it's the cigar one. It must be the Nordics. I don't even know if that's true, but I'm just using that as an example. Like maybe when we see different craft in the sky, it actually represents a different intelligence that kind of came up with that design. That's the best design for them. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of the assumption I've always made. Who knows? Let's see what's next. I don't know what you think about this. Do you guys think that there might be several alien species kind of popping in like it's the intergalactic 7-Eleven around here? Or do you think that's a bunch of bunk? Chat poll time. 1, you think there's aliens visiting? The different breeds of aliens or different species. 0, you think that this is all a bunch of flaky crap. What do you think? Let me know. I want to see it in the chat, what you guys think. I like these chat polls because it's the only way I know to bring you guys into the discussion. What do you think? Rachel thinks there's several. Okay. BJ Lapierre thinks there's, yes, absolutely. John Stevenson, yeah, he's on board. Pixie Ranger, Chucky Danger, Bogart, all on board. Elaine's an Aries. Okay. Yeshua says, yeah. Jamie Hawkins says, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. And nothing from Rumble. Nobody in Rumble's weighing in on this. Okay. Fair enough. DK says 0101. That's a binary. Well, almost a binary. You need 8 digits to make a binary code, but it's close. I'm not sure which one you're going with, but it looks like you're halfway on this. T-Bone's all in. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So most everybody that's chatting is all in on the idea that there are aliens. Millions of beings, Barbara Mora says. I was just asking Barbara if you believe there are many different alien species visiting the Earth, or if you think that's a bunch of bunk. 1, if you think yes. 0, not really. What do you think? And everybody's pretty much weighed in. So anyway, fallen angels. Paul Perez says maybe. I can't disparage anybody's ideas on this because it's just like the question of the week. Nobody knows. Man from the West 420 says, yeah, many aliens coming. I don't know. I think it's possible. I know I've seen UFO. I don't know who was driving it, but I saw a flying saucer. So, truth or tinfoil? No, you didn't miss the question of the week. This is just a question about this article that I'm reading over here. They're suggesting there's 4 different species of extraterrestrials visiting us, and I was just curious, what do you guys think? Read the Bible, people, Paul says. Well, I mean, that's one belief system, Paul. It's not the only one that exists, but I appreciate your input. You could be right. I don't know. Okay, there we go. Justin Goodert's all in on this. He was late, so he missed the question, but he caught it now. So Barbara and Justin are all in on this too. Yep, multiple species, many different experiences, probably the same underlying phenomena seems likely. Chasing Mound Builder says, yeah, there you go. Well, that's kind of the chat poll. I'm just always interested in where you guys are at with this stuff. I think that's fantastic. And again, there's no wrong answers. You could be absolutely right. I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend to know much of anything, actually. Knowing and having theories or ideas, 2 different things. I know nothing, but I have a lot of ideas. So let's go to the last article for the night. This one also has to do with the extraterrestrial files. This one is a historical file dealing with a historical event that had happened. From unexplained-mysteries.com. It's another reason I love this site, is they sometimes feature some of these old claims of stories and stuff. 70 years on, mystery of encounter with goblin-like aliens still endures. I think this was in Kentucky or something, but let's see what it says. I've forgotten. In 1955, the family had a strange experience that would become known as the Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter. The strangeness began August 21st, 1955, when Billy Ray Taylor, who had been visiting his friend Elmer Sutton at his farmhouse in Kelly, Kentucky, there we go, I was right, spotted something strange in the sky while outside fetching water from a well. The object he described as silver in color, real bright, and with an exhaust of all the colors of the rainbow, proved so terrifying that he ran indoors and informed both his wife and the other members of the Sutton family that there was a UFO outside and that it had come down somewhere nearby. Before long, the family had become convinced that there really was someone or something approaching their farmhouse. What followed was a lengthy standoff lasting several hours against alleged alien entities, strange goblin or gremlin-like creatures described by the family as being approximately 3 foot tall with oversized head, large ears, and talons for fingers. So it's not the typical greys that we usually hear about, the diminutive greys. There was also said to have yellow glowing eyes and silvery metallic skin. These supposed creatures were witnessed by several members of the family, sometimes peering in the windows and at other times retreating into the trees. Both Sutton and Taylor, terrified by what was happening, grabbed guns and tried to shoot at the creatures, but with little success. Eventually, unsure of what else to do, both families bundled into the car and drove off to the Hopkinsville police station to ask for help. Officers could see immediately that they were in a clear state of panic about what had happened to them, with one of the family registering a pulse in excess of 140 beats per minute. 4 officers quickly drove out to the farmhouse to see for themselves what was going on, and they found signs of a struggle, including multiple bullet holes, but no evidence of the creatures. So what exactly happened? One of the most popular explanations is that the family had actually encountered, here we go, large owls that may have been attempting to defend their nest. So these mountain people couldn't tell an owl from a gremlin-like alien. Some types of owls are quite large and could, especially in the dark, account for the family's descriptions of small goblin-like creatures with talons for fingers. It would also explain how the creatures were able to so easily retreat into the trees. Similarly, it's been suggested that the families may have experienced a form of mass hysteria that impaired their judgment about what was going on. Then again, perhaps they really did have an encounter with otherworld entities. We will likely never know for sure. Owls. They came up with owls, like this mountain family, or this, from the mountains of Kentucky with a well, didn't recognize owls. What? What the hell is that? That's sometimes the most insulting part of these stories is the official explanations for it. And it certainly was pretty common during Project Blue Book and others. But, I mean, come on, owls? You don't think these people that lived out in the woods can recognize an owl and couldn't know the difference between that and an alien? Come on. Anyway, I'm just saying, and I've never seen an owl defend their nest like that. I'm guessing the guys named Billy Ray and Elmer know what owls are. That's what I'm saying. It's like Billy Ray and Elmer know owls. They've seen owls. And they don't usually come down with rainbow plumes behind them either, just for the record. And they don't drive anything. So, yeah, that's pretty sad. I think that the descriptions there, the debunking attempts are just more ridiculous than the actual, well, it could be aliens. Okay. I think that's plausible. They were shooting guns and not hitting anything. You don't think they could have hit an owl? These are guys living in the hills. Of course they can hit an owl. All right. Anyway, they can shoot the nipple off a deer at 50 yards. Just saying. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe. Probably knew their way around some firearms. This is what I'm saying. So, swamp gas owls. You got it, Barry. That sounds about right. Or giant owls. You know, it's kind of funny, though, because if you watch the movie The Fourth Kind, with the Nome, Alaska influx of experiences the whole community was having, or at least several people, a lot of people were perceiving owls, like this crazy owl activity. So many of the people that were affected by it had nightmares of owls. Well, I think it was some kind of psychological block that was maybe put into place by the creatures. I don't know. Hell, I don't know what the hell's going on for sure. But crazy story. Anyway, there's the story, and we're going to stick with it because I don't have anything to offer in retrospect. Hi, Jackie Hall. Good to see you. All right, so let's get back to the rest of the show. See what else is on the roster for tonight. Because I know I got a hankering for some question of the week. I'm just saying. Let's get back to it, folks. All right, there we are. Rachel, I think you didn't see a blue owl. I think you saw a UFO. Just saying. It sounds like what people in Nome, Alaska were talking about. Hello, Mr. Jason Finch. Good to see you. Great to see all you guys. Thank you all for coming in. Being a part of the journey tonight as we go through the Paranormal Portal. Just to let you know, remember I'm going to be doing some conferences pretty soon. And by God, I'm all pumped for them. Here's the first one I'm going to be at. This is happening September 3rd through the 6th. And it's going to be a wing dinger. It's happening down in Vernal, Utah. And I'm looking forward to this one. This one's always been a blast. I've been to many of them for the past 3 years. And I'm excited to do this one again. Remember, again, the 3rd through the 6th. Here it is, Phenomicon. This is a heck of an event. They do a really good job. Of course, Wes was there 1 year. He's not going back though, unfortunately. But anyway, he was there. But Tony was there last year. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet Tony and hang out with him and his brother. That was a lot of fun. But a lot of great speakers going to be there. Got Georgie Tsoukalos. Got George Knapp, George Norrie, and Jessica Chobot. And a whole host of other people. So that's going to be the 3rd through the 6th in Vernal, Utah. That one's coming up pretty soon, actually. It's going to be a great event. So if you can be in Vernal, Utah between September 3rd and 6th, you should be there. I'm going to get a booth. I'll have a booth, a table there. And I'm hoping to meet some people that are listening to the shows. So if you're one of those people, come hang out with us. And then later in September, I'm going to be in Missouri. And I'm going to try to pull that one out. I think I would have this stuff ready. I never do, though. But later in September, and the 18th, I think it is, I will be at this one. And this is the Crossing Realms Conference. You might have been hearing about it if you are a listener of like Texas Front Porch or Bigfoot Michigan Rob's show or the Blondes and the Booze, Paranormal Paul, any of those, you would be hearing about this one, which is coming up at the end of September, towards the last half of September. I wish they had dates right on the top. I don't know why they didn't, but at any rate, it looks like it's September 19th and 20th at this one. This is the Crossing Realms Conference. This one is going to be great. Of course, all of the many different show hosts from all of the shows I mentioned and more are going to be here. I'm going to be there. Ken Gerhardt's going to be there, Anne Celine, and several other people. They've got Greg Ogles, I think, is going to be there, who's a documentarian filmmaker. And it's going to be a good time. So this one's happening in September 19th and 20th. So there's a meet and greet Friday, September 19th, and the conference kickoff is the 20th. So looks like it'll be a good time. I'm really looking forward to this because, of course, I've become good friends with a lot of those hosts, and it'll be neat to meet them in person. So Truth or Tinfoil, you're going to be there? Richmond, Missouri, yes. Truth or Tinfoil, I think, is going to be there as well. There's a social night on Thursday for all the ticket holders. Oh, is there? I thought that was for VIP only, Truth or Tinfoil. Okay. Sorry if I'm misrepresenting this, but at any rate, if you're in the Midwest anywhere, come make this journey. Come around and see us. We're really looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then in October, I got a second one that I have to still commit to, but it's going to be in the, I don't know, I guess around the 10th or 12th of October. But the one that I have committed to, which I hope you guys will join me at, is this one if you're on the East Coast. And this is happening October 24th at the Barrel House Z in Weymouth, Massachusetts. I'm teaming up with the Hometown Ghost Stories guys. We're going to be doing a live event there. So, yeah. Oh, Truth or Tinfoil will be there in spirit. Okay. Gotcha. Well, don't let Tex sing. I hear you. But I'm looking forward to this one in October as well. I'm going to be hanging out with the Hometown Ghost Stories guys in Weymouth, Massachusetts at the Barrel House Z. This is going to be a fun live event that we're doing. It's not going to be telecast, not going to be streamed. It's just for the ticket holders. But for the last two that I mentioned, go to Eventbrite and look for tickets. Both the Crossing Realms Conference and this Hometown Ghost Stories Conference. Or it's not a conference, it's a live event. But these will all be happening in the coming months. I'm going to be doing another conference in Wallace, Idaho, earlier in October, right before this one actually, where I'm going to be speaking as well. So those are what's coming up. I just want to promote them because I don't do a lot of conferences. I don't get out much, but I'm excited to get out to these conferences. It's going to be a lot of traveling, a lot of running around for me, but I'm really looking forward to it. And if it's possible to meet some of you guys, that would be a lot of fun. So if you can make the journey, please do. But I'm here to tell you that there's something else. The Paranormal Portal. And we're going to get to that right now, folks, because we are heading to the Discord question of the week. And it's time for that right now. If I can find the teaser thing. Here we go. All right, folks, welcome to the Discord question of the week. This is championed by our very own Chucky Danger, who has come up with these questions for quite some time and doing a hell of a job. And the idea of this is for you guys to weigh in and be a part of the discussion. A lot of times, other than these chat polls that we've been doing, you guys haven't had a chance to really weigh in and tell us what you think. So the Discord question of the week has been a lot of fun because it's an opportunity to see what you guys think about a lot of different topics. And it could be cryptozoological, could be spirit ghosts, could be UFO or strange phenomena. Any of that grab bag, Chucky comes up with a question and asks you guys, and you guys weigh in. There's no wrong answers. Please remember that. As Wes says, nobody's got any of these in their garage studying them. So whatever you think is just as valid as any other idea out there, even if it seems really bizarre to you, you could still be right, and everyone else could be wrong. So it's kind of the Schrodinger's cat of in terms of fact, because it's both true and untrue until we know. So this is our question of the week. So starting out, Chucky asks for this week, the week of August 10th question. Question of the week. On the last live stream of the Paranormal Portal, we started to discuss whether ghosts are always seen as transparent, or can spirits take on the appearance of looking just as solid as you and I? Do you think it's possible that you've interacted with a person that wasn't actually alive? I love this question because I've pondered this for ages. I think it's very possible. We all could have entertained some spiritual presence and not known it. So first up comes Gasman. Gasman comes in and says, too many stories of people seeing apparitions that seem solid at the time for it to be dismissed. I think it depends on the level of manifestation the spirit has achieved as to how solid it appears. Great thought. Yeah, I think that's possibly very true. Great ideas. Bogart comes in next, says, probably, yeah, I believe they can be seen as real. Depends if they have enough energy to appear as we look in solid form. I think he meant, it says soiled form. But solid form, I seen the woman in my house in solid form. She was dressed in 1970s clothes. I can still see her in my mind today. Only me and my husband and dog live in my house. I'm the only female here in my house. It's haunted. Very cool, Bogart. I think that's fascinating. And yeah.
Possibly.
The ghost box says possibly. That is amazing. That's a great response, Ghost Box. Well done. That's pretty cool. Ghostbox said possibly. You got it right from the horse's mouth, kind of. That's pretty cool. Not that you're a horse. I don't know what the hell you are, but thanks for weighing in. That's a perfect response. Wow, that's powerful. So, great thoughts. Let's keep going. See if the Ghostbox has anything more to say about it. Eric, the Wandering Purple Hobbit, comes in and says, I've seen solid spirits before. Yes, they can. Only for a split second to a full 5 minutes, then they disappear. I've many a spectral encounter. If you haven't and want to work in nursing homes and hospitals, live in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a while. Oh, man. I'll bet there's certainly places like that's, see death regularly. I think apparitions are probably a real common experience, but hospitals, prisons, old nursing homes, things like that, those places have a lot of living history, if you will. So yeah, that's probably the right place to bump into something eventually. All right, Last Light comes in next and says, I think it depends on the viewer. Nothing to back that up, just a feeling. My only ghost encounter happened before my memory did. I was 3, so I only have the story that was told to me to go by, and there wasn't a mention of how I perceived it. Just that it was a man, and he was an a-hole of a person based on what my dad learned from our landlord after my experience. Wow. I'd love to hear more about that, honestly. That's fascinating. And yeah, certainly, I guess if you were a jerk in life, you're probably going to be a jerk ghost too. Very wild. Okay. Great. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to be a guest and tell me your experiences on the podcast, I'd love to interview you. So keep that in mind. Karen Alberting comes in next and says, really interesting question. Yeah, I absolutely think it's possible. Whether I have or not, I don't know. I've interacted with so many people. It wouldn't surprise me though. Yeah, I think oftentimes we just may not know. And right behind me, right there. I'm getting photobombed maybe, so watch your screens. So anyway, I do have a feeling that actually what Last Light said depends on the viewer. And I think that's an important point, because even though we perceive, or some people perceive, these apparitions solidly right in front of them, it's very possible that if you were in a group of other people, they would see absolutely nothing. And that's sometimes how this phenomenon works. It's not actually manifest physically for all. It may be more telepathic projection of an idea. I don't know, because there's plenty of cases where people encounter an apparition and they're like shocked and blown away by it, but people with them saw absolutely nothing. Or somebody hearing a shrieking scream and the other people with them hearing nothing. And so there's plenty of cases like that, plenty of testimonials like that, where people have heard incredibly loud, horrifying noises, and then the people right next to them may not hear a thing. So what does that mean? Well, it probably means that somehow either the visual sensation of that and the auditory sensations may be able to be projected to the person individually and not just en masse. Like, we see things because they are reflecting photons of light that hit our eyes and we can interpret it. But maybe we have another kind of vision that we aren't usually familiar with, but can operate just as clearly if it's affected with the right conditions. I don't know. But fascinating thoughts anyway. All right, let's continue on. BJ Lapeer comes in. From my own experience, spirits can appear as if they are totally solid and just like any other person would, or transparent as well. I've seen them both ways. Also including black shadow people, I think that some spirits can appear as they wish, but others don't have the ability to appear one way or the other. I have 3 spirits that are attached to our land here, and every time I see them, they appear as clear to me as any warm-blooded human out there. Mine just walk through my living room as if they are on a reoccurring loop of existence. Sounds residual in some cases, yeah? These 3 do not seem to know I am there observing them. Yeah, that would be very residual. So it's an imprint of energy that replays, yeah. Not necessarily a conscious being. Basically, I don't think they're aware of anything other than their own existence, if even that. But even then, even though they don't seem to be aware of their surroundings, it doesn't make them any more or less solid looking to this side of the veil. So for part 2 of this question, yes, as far as interacting with people who are dead and actually appear as alive, I've seen that too. When I've done readings and the dead appear to me. I told their son what they looked like to me, and I described them perfectly as they appeared in real life. They looked totally human to me, and if I didn't already know, I would have had a hard time to tell the difference. Interesting, very interesting. Very cool experiences, I'm sure. Probably took you a while to get used to that, though, huh? All right, Maggie comes in next. Why am I always on this? I've learned how to disable that now, thank God. My dad saw a little boy once looking at pet mice in a cage in the front room of an active house street I grew up in. He said he was working on the computer, got up to get a book, and as he turned back around, he saw him standing there. I remember he said it was though the boy was in a different time because he wasn't aware, or seemed to not be aware of my dad was speaking to him. My dad left the room to get my mom, and he was gone when they came back. It has boggled my mind as to how this is possible. If the boy was indeed in a different time and unable to hear my dad, how was he seeing the mice? Or was he just looking at something else entirely? That's a good question. I have no answers, and the more I read and find out, the less sense things seem to make. Yeah, welcome to my world too. It's like, God, I thought I would learn this stuff at some point, but all I'm learning is what I don't know. However, I do know the boy wasn't a ghostly apparition in the traditional sense. He seemed very much physical in reality. Okay. I do wonder if people are seeing a manifestation sometimes of their past, younger selves, or maybe their older future selves too. I have no doubt there are spirits, entities, unfathomable energies that can manifest as solid or even just present around us, like that saying about being mindful of how you treat everyone. You never know who you are interacting with. Good point. Yeah. That's very interesting. And there is the time slip idea that maybe we're not actually seeing apparitions, but there's a weird flux of the time-space field, and we're somehow seeing into a different era of time. There's many stories I've covered through the years of people seeing ghosts and being surprised by them, and then the ghosts are seeing the people and being surprised by them. So like they were ghosts to each other. And so if that was some weird time diaphragm that opened between them and they both became aware of each other in that space. And I think that that's a possibility. Some of these are more time anomalies than they are actually hauntings or apparitions. So it's anybody's guess. Very interesting, though. Shelley comes in and says, yes, Chucky, and more than one. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we don't need real robust answers. Just appreciate taking the time to weigh in. Rachel comes in and said, yes, I do think that has happened, whether walking in a small shopping mall or on the street. There can be people who you smile at, nod at, or say hi to that could be ghosts. That's exactly the question I've always wondered. Like, I say hi to people all the time. I always smile and try to be cordial to everybody I meet. And most everybody smiles, reciprocates the smile, or, will exchange some kind of pleasantry. But then there's the people that just don't look up. They don't even acknowledge that you're there, and they just beeline right by. And you're like, well, either that person is really has some serious social anxiety, doesn't like other people, or it's not really people at all. And I've thought about all those. And, I've even entertained the idea, could that be those human aliens they're talking about? The ones that look like us, but they're not? I don't know. Is that possible? I think maybe. So, as I've had 2 solid ghost experiences, I believe this happens daily to different people in all areas. It's probably happened to me. Not necessarily a place where tragic events happen, but in places people have fond memories of. Sure. I mean, I don't think that ghosts can only be because of a negative experience. It could be a place that had a lot of love and joy and happiness that could be an attraction for these presences to linger, like a place that made them happy, So it doesn't always have to be the horror version of things. I mean, I think that there are places in my life that will be places I may haunt if you get to choose that. I may just choose to stick around, There's some places that I've been in my life that I felt extraordinary joy and comfort in, and there's other places where I felt extraordinarily uncomfortable in, and probably won't be lingering in those places. So interesting. Unknown comes in next. Quite a robust answer. And the last one of the night. It all depends on what we really mean by alive, doesn't it? I understand the world is in its ordinary sense, breathing, eating, moving. But then again, what about beings like demons? Do they count as living? Well, sure, good point. What about angels? If they exist, are they alive in the same way we are, or are they something else entirely? And I think, just a little segue on this, I think that by alive we just mean, do they have a physical form, a pulse, an identity, or are they just an impression that we can perceive? So I think that's that's kind of the definition that we're working with in this question. But great questions, because I think that does have to be specified in a sense. Like, by alive, we're meaning, do they have skin and muscles and bones, a skeletal structure, an identity, and a role in this world, or are they beyond physical form but can manifest it, and therefore they're not alive in the traditional sense? So I asked myself that because of one strange encounter I'll never forget. I was standing in an ordinary place minding my own business when a man appeared, as if he'd stepped out of thin air. There was nothing remarkable about his approach, yet when we started talking, it felt as though we'd known each other for years. Conversations came easy, like old friends reconnecting. He told me he played guitar at a church on Sundays, and even handed me a business card with the church's name printed on it. He said he lived just across the street from where we stood. Everything about it seemed casual and simple. But here's the part that unsettles me. After that day, I never saw him again, not once. I half expected to bump into him, but he was gone as suddenly as he'd appeared. I never checked into the church to see if he was truly there, strumming his guitar like he said he was. Something in me didn't dare. Now looking back, I can't help but wonder, who was he? Really? Just a stranger with perfect timing, or something else, and something not entirely alive in the way we think of it? I'm not saying he was an angel or a spirit or whatever name people might give to such a presence, but the strangeness of it lingers. It makes me question what kind of beings walk among us, wearing the face of a neighbor, then vanishing as though they were never there at all. Oh, and sorry for my answer was so long. Sometimes when I don't sleep for a while, I tend to think a little. Well, try to think a little. See, I'm still remembering or rambling. No, that was a great answer. Great theories, great ideas. And it's kind of funny because I have a story kind of like that. And this is one I think I've shared before on the show, but maybe not. Maybe not for a long time. And the story was, in all places, I was in Indonesia. Now, when I went to Indonesia the first time, I guess it was, probably about almost 20 years ago. But anyway, at that time in Indonesia, and it's changing, and it's a wonderful country. I loved Indonesia quite a bit for a lot of reasons, but mostly because there's a lot of poverty, but the people are very happy and warm and kind. They were very kind to me. Now, I was Midwestern me, no worldly experience other than a trip to the UK once, several years prior, but I was going over to meet Mrs. Portal for the first time because we'd known each other through, the internet for quite a while. But I'd made the leap. I was going to go over and see her, and I didn't speak Indonesian other than a few words. And she really spoke very little English, so it was really an interesting thing. But I went over there, and it was still at a time when there was quite a bit of tensions between, the U.S. and the Muslim world, and just truth to tell, I guess. And it wasn't, it was post 9/11, but it was, post by several years. But anyway, I went over there, and for the most part, I felt very comfortable. But there was one part in Indonesia where I could see people looking at me, and I had the weight of, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel comfortable. And again, I'm like not speaking any Indonesian enough to communicate, but people are walking around, and Mrs. Portal's with me. She was not Mrs. Portal at the time, but you get where I'm going. And I started to feel really uncomfortable, like I wasn't really welcome there, and it started to feel really nervous, like I'm looking around figuring out where we might have to go in a real hurry. Like I was feeling very vulnerable. And suddenly, and my wife was very surprised by this, but this old Indonesian guy came up, and he started talking in pretty good English, really pretty good English. And first of all, this blew my wife away because, according to her, almost nobody over there was really fluent in English, unless you find expats or whatever over there. But this wasn't the case. This man was very Indonesian, but he's very old. And I swear to you, hand to God, the man had like one tooth in his mouth, and I, honest to God, couldn't tell if it was from his upper jaw or his lower. It seemed to float around. I know that sounds bizarre, but in perfect English, he suddenly came up out of nowhere and started engaging me. And he was this wonderful, sparkle eyes, just this great energy about him. But he instantly made me feel okay. And he talked with us, and he laughed and joked with me, and we talked. And I could feel the pressure of that situation start to melt, and it felt good. Like he was maybe an elder or something. And he told me that he worked in the mosque. There was 2 mosques right across the street from each other there. And he said that he worked in both of them. And I don't recall what he said that he did. He just said he worked in both of them, but he said his name was Jimmy. And I thought that was weird. He said, yeah, I'm named Jimmy, just like your president, Jimmy Carter. I thought that was funny, but he's sitting there talking to me, and I was joking and talking with him. And then I was like, Jimmy, can I take some pictures of you? Cause I have my camera with, my DSLR camera. And he's like, oh, sure. And so he stood there and posed, and I took 3 pictures of Jimmy, and I think I posed for one, and Mrs. Portal took a picture. Now, I took over 1,000 photos while I was in Indonesia. Oh, well, then, we were like, well, he said, I got to go, but you're welcome to come to the mosque and come in and see it. And I was like, well, we were actually on our way somewhere. We had to go. And I was like, well, I don't have time, but thank you so much. And Jimmy just like melted into the crowd. He was just gone. And suddenly we were on our own. And then that pressure kind of came back. So I'm like, maybe we should go, and she agreed. And so we left. We caught a cab and got out of there. Later on, I was going through the pictures of over 1,000 pictures from my time in Indonesia. 3 pictures were absolutely corrupted and unrecoverable. And all 3 of those pictures were Jimmy. Every other photo was absolutely fine, but all 3 of those images were unrecoverable. And I tried and tried, and they wouldn't come back. Now, I don't know if that's supernatural or not, but it was such a surreal experience that I was like, I think this was very special. Like this was a special experience, and maybe he was protecting us. I don't know. I don't mean to imply that I was in danger, but I just felt really, really uncomfortable. And the sentiment at that time was very charged, for especially being an American that didn't speak the language. So I felt incredibly, worried. Was a toothless vampire? I don't think so, Pixie. He was a wonderful soul, and honestly, it was an amazing experience. But was it or not? I can't tell you, because he was there in person. She saw him, I saw him, we talked, and she was marveling after the fact that he could speak English. Like she said, none of the old people speak English, but she was amazed that he was so fluent. So cool experience. Not to say that there aren't English-speaking guys in Indonesia, even the older ones, but she said it was nothing she had ever been familiar with. So there's the story. Is that similar to yours, Unknown? I don't know. It feels similar, though. So that was my experience. But that's the end of the question of the week. Sorry to burn up so much time talking about my own experience, but it's just kind of neat to read yours and go, oh, that reminds me of an experience I had. So that's why I do it. Hope that's not a waste of your time. They're amazing stories to me, but it's hard to know that if I'm relaying them with the same passion and experience that I had. I try to. So I hope that made sense to you guys, but it was a cool experience for me. All right, so that is the question of the week. Thank you to everybody that took the time to weigh in and respond. Tell us your thoughts on this, and please know that our Discord is wide open to anybody that wants to join. We just ask that you, thank you, Rachel. We just ask that you, obviously don't go in there and start talking trash and causing problems. Obviously, it's a great community of wonderful people. We've had nothing but wonderful people in our Discord. And so if you join, please hold to that tradition, but you're welcome to take part in our server. As you can see over here on Discord are all the different chat threads that you can weigh in on. If you have an article that you come by that you think is awesome dealing with any of these topics, please post them. If you find a great video on YouTube that you watch, please post it. This is where we share ideas and information for each other. And you guys are welcome. If any of you guys are creators of any kind of objects or things that you'd like to make available to everybody and you want to offer them for sale, we do have a portal marketplace here. And you can certainly, if you have a creation that you do and you'd like to make it available to our audience or our other portal people, then post it in here. I'm happy to help, give you any kind of traction you can. So it's all here. There's all these ideas and things to discuss, and we'd love you to have there. And Chucky put the link. What is that, Chuck? Is that your link or mine? Ours would be discord.gg/paranormal portal. Is that yours, Chucky? Chucky's got a Discord too, in case you're wondering. And you're welcome to join that as well. Help support what Chucky's doing. That one is? I think you can just do .paranormal portal, can't you? Invite people. Yeah, well, what is that? We should have a server name. But if not, use the one that Chucky posted. I don't know.
Help.
Help. It says help. What do you need help with? Joining Discord? It might not work. Maybe it's not. I want to just see. I want to try this out to see. I know Sheldon just had to reboost the server again, so let me just look. HTTPS discord.gg/paranormal portal. I think that should work. Invite invalid. Okay. I guess we got to re-up our Discord link. I'll message Sheldon here in a moment. Actually, I'm going to do it now if you guys don't mind. He says checking. Can you look into the static URL too? Sheldon is the one that created our Discord server. It doesn't look like the /Paranormal Portal works. Thank you, Chucky, for posting that. So I don't know why it's not working, but we've kept it boosted, I thought. But it's a constant thing. This is another thing that does cost us money. So please use it. We need help, not the spirit box. We all need help, T-Bone. Absolutely. It's been kind of talky tonight, though. That's kind of cool. And it seems pretty relevant. All right, that's been the Discord question of the week. By God. Where is it? Oh, I guess it's over on this one. I guess I should go over here and do it. If I can figure out what I'm doing. There we go. All right, there we go. We're going to get to the next segment now, which is one that I think we all know and love. And this is one that we've been going through for a few days, covering an article dealing with ghost pictures. iCodega's Codex of Curiosities. Welcome. I was suggested this channel, so here I am. Well, God bless you. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you like it enough to decide to make it a subscription. No pressure. All right, here we go. What is that indeed? And this is one of the last pictures we covered last night. Dealing with some classic ghost pictures, folks. This is a segment that I've come up with to discuss evidence. And I'm not the arbiter of truth here. I don't know if what we're looking at is potentially really real or some of it's very obviously not real. And we'll discuss that as best we can. How you doing, David Barnes? Good to see you. T-Bone coming in with a donation. God bless you. Thank you so much. But I just thought it'd be great to have a forum on the shows where we discuss alleged evidence. And we've been going through this liveabout.com article, and it's the best ghost pictures ever taken. Now, some of them are incredibly compelling. Some of them are a little more questionable. And all I ask is you be the judge. Now, throughout this article, I've been asking you guys in the chat to vote. 1, you think the image we're looking at is real. 0, it's not. But please wait until I ask you, because otherwise I'm going to have a bunch of 1s and 0s and not know which image you're talking about. So let's break it down. But this is written by Stephen Wagner, who has written a whole host of incredible articles on liveabout.com. And please check out his work. The guy is really phenomenal. And I've been a fan of his work for quite some time. I actually reached out to him to see if he'd come on the show, but I never got a response. But I'd love to talk to the guy because he's just done a real good job with his articles. So kind of like Brent Swanser, another great guy. So let's get to number 18 of 28, The Haunted Bureau. Oh, look at that hand. Whoa. All right, I'm going to read the backstory that Stephen Wagner wrote in here about this. It's very curious. It's like, what is this? The Addams Family? Sorry. I couldn't resist. Let's see what it says. This early 20th century ghost picture of a beautiful Queen Anne style bureau was taken at the request of a furniture dealer by Montague Cooper, a well-known and respected photographer of the day. Cooper was at a loss to explain the transparent hand that appears to rest near the top of the bureau. Is it a ghost of a previous owner who's reluctant to let it go? All right, time to weigh in, folks. What do you think? Is this an actual capture of a hand? I mean, it's very clearly a hand, but do you think it's some kind of darkroom trickery, or is that a good capture of potentially a ghost hand? What do you think? Number 1 in chat if you think that's a real thing, or 0. Look at the feet. Yeah, look at the feet. Those are like some lion claw feet. You know, where it looks like a lion's claws wrapping around a ball. I had a tub that was like that in my old Victorian house. That was during a remodel that I did Interesting stuff. So we got a few votes. Chucky thinks it's real. Rachel thinks it's real. Sharon Sunshine, not so much. John Stevenson's all in. Linda said 3. I don't think that was an option. Does that mean you don't know? Is that what 3 represents? Adventures with Beth. Adventures with Beth says 0. Not really buying it. Fair enough. Tina says yeah. Yeshua says yeah. Man from the West 420 says looks like a hand. He's all in. Yeah. Bogart says nope. Jackie Hall says nope. The Unknown says nope. Cryptid Crossroads is halfway there. Willing to entertain the idea. And T-Bone's not really all in. I will say that it's an extraordinarily ambiguous kind of apparition to see. Like, why a hand? Why there? I don't know if that's like a writing desk that folds down or something. I'm just not sure. But it does seem like an arbitrary thing to capture. Like, there doesn't seem any purpose of it other than maybe a former owner, like they suggested in the narrative. And that could be. Owl 13 says, nope, not so much. Elaine's all in. I can see the fingers. Yeah, there's no question. This is a hand for sure. I agree. The question really, I think, is not so much is this a hand, but do you think this is a genuine capture of a ghost, part of a ghost? Or do you think it's a fake? And I don't know. I don't know the photographer they're talking about. I don't really know any of the backstory other than what I've just read to you. But it's, is it impossible? I guess no, really. But it just seems like such a weird thing to appear, just one hand. It's not without precedence. I mean, there's several times people have talked about with these weird manifested things. Sometimes it's footprints on a floor suggesting somebody just walked through. Sometimes it's the lower portion of a body, like the legs and feet of something walking through where nothing else is visible. So it's not without precedence. It's just a strange one. Benno's halfway there. Yeah. Could be attached. Great story, Brent. Awesome story. Oh, thank you, Eric. I think you're referring to my Indonesia story. I appreciate that. I do. But it's an interesting one. I don't know. I find it bizarre. I will say that. I find it kind of bizarre, but there you go. Let's go to the next one. This one's pretty famous. It's been around for a long, long time. The Cemetery Ghost Baby. And this one kind of breaks my heart, to be honest with you. I don't know. The whole idea of, I mean, it's sad enough if you've got to bury a child, but then to think of their spirit lingering in the cemetery like that, I think that's about the most horrible thing to consider, when you're burying a loved one. Are they just going to linger here? So I honestly, my gut feeling is I hope this one isn't true, because I hate to think of a little gentle soul like that sitting there all alone in a graveyard. I mean, it doesn't seem fair or right, but let's read the narrative. A woman named Mrs. Andrews was visiting her daughter's grave in a cemetery in Queensland, Australia in 1946 or 1947. Her daughter Joyce had died about a year earlier in 1945 at the age of 17. Mrs. Andrews saw nothing unusual when she took the photo of Joyce's grave marker, so the daughter was actually 17 when she passed, not an infant, so that's even a little more peculiar. When the film was developed, Mrs. Andrews was astonished to see the image of a small child sitting happily at her daughter's grave. The ghost child seems aware of Mrs. Andrews, and she is looking directly at the camera. Is it possibly a double exposure? Mrs. Andrews says there were no such children nearby when she took the photo and didn't recognize that child at all. It was no one she would have taken a picture of. She remarked that the child that she did not believe it was the ghost of her daughter as a child. Investigating the case, Australian paranormal researcher Tony Healy visited the cemetery in late 1990s. Near Joyce's grave, he found graves of 2 infant girls. Time to vote. What do you guys think? Is this potentially the apparition of one of those ghostly infants who was buried? Is it a real capture? Or do you suspect some trickery involved here? What do you think? Or even an inadvertent double exposure. What do you guys think? Owl's not on board. Yeah, that's a cruel joke. Sharon thinks it's possible. Chucky's not there. Hooking Good by Tina says 2. What is with these weird numbers you guys are putting up here? Jackie Hall's all in. Rachel, not so much. Unknown says 0. Yeah, it's strange that this child spirit would just decide to hang out on that cemetery grave of someone else. Benno from Oz says yum. I don't know what the hell that means. Bogart's not in on this one. BJ doesn't think so. Yeshua, not buying it. Barbara says nope. Absolutely not. She said yes to the last one, by the way. Justin Goodearth was all in there too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been around forever. I've seen this one for years and years and years in different sources. And I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. See, I guess I was under the assumption that this was the child that was buried here, but that child was 17 years old. So that's not an infant. Oh, man. My freaking eye. My eyes, when I start sweating, I get like burning eyes. All right, so I don't know. It's an interesting capture. Could it be? Sure. It sure could be. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense in terms of, well, that's not the spirit of the person in the grave. What are we looking at? Debunked. What is this? I've seen that one debunked. Oh, very cool. I have not come across that. So, by all means, that's great to hear. I again, I don't like the idea of little kids sitting in a cemetery for, I don't know. I don't know if it's eternity, but even just for a while. That's a horrible thought. So I'd like this one to be debunked. It's kind of creepy. Not because it's a child. Well, it's creepy because it's a child. And of course, we obviously want to protect children. And if you're a normal person, a normally developed person, you see a child and you're like, oh, I want to make it okay. I want to make that child safe and comfortable. But certainly sitting in a cemetery is not one of those locations that would be safe or comfortable. Anyway, there it is. It's a famous picture. It's been around for years and years and years. But I'm kind of, again, I don't think children are allowed to cross over. Oh, really? That's an interesting thought. I don't know that that's true. I would say of all, in my opinion, of all the people to cross over, if there really is a gatekeeper for what goes on into the next world, I think children would be shoo-ins to just get shuffled right over because they're not corrupt. They're not horrible or tainted souls. They haven't been corrupted by, choices in this life. They are innocent. So that would be my take, but I don't pretend to be the arbiter of this, as I said. So I think anything's possible. The Decibel Hotel Ghost. I don't know if that's decibel or decibel hotel ghost, but that's how I'm saying it. And it's not easy to see, but there is a humanoid apparition here. Can you guys see that okay? That looks like it might be a great capture, honestly. But let's see what it says. Authorities have warned people to stay away from the Decibel Hotel because construction was taking place on the 150-year-old building. What they didn't warn people about was the ghost. The spirit of a tall woman in a long white frock has long been reported at the spa. The hotel in Romania is rumored to hide ancient Roman treasure, and the ghost, it is said, appears to protect it from treasure hunters. Only anecdotal evidence for this ghost existed until 2008, when 33-year-old Victoria Iovan snapped this photo, which seemed to show the ghostly image of a tall figure in a long white garb. And this looks like a quote from her. I photographed my boyfriend in the hotel, said Iovan. Back home, I was shocked to see another woman's shadow in the picture. She looked like a priestess in long white clothes. Well, there it is. What do you think? Are you in on this one? Do you think this is legit? A 1 in chat if you think it's real. Benno's thumbs up. I think Benno's in on this one. It looks like the inside of a doorway at the top of the steps to me. It does, yeah. But what we're focused on is the friendly red circle kind of shows us there is a silhouette, a lighter silhouette of what looks like a woman or a nun or something in a long frock kind of thing with hovering just above where I guess her feet would be down here. But it doesn't, I don't know. if it's possibly a window and there's a person inside the window and maybe that's why it's kind of washed out. Again, all we can do is judge it at face value, and that's all I ask. Is that you look at it, does it look like it could be legit, or what do you think? Chucky's all in, Jackie Hall's all in, Sharon Sunshine's all in, Rachel's in, Yeshua, yes, Owl 13, yes, Aussie Tigers all in, Elaine's good with it, Linda and T-Bone all are. The Unknown says looks good, but I don't know. I second guess everything now. Cryptical Crossroads says it looks like a bum looking in the window. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. Barbara's all in on this one. It's dark out. Oh, Justin's in his shop. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. Possible at best. Possible at best, Dog Digger says. Okay. Fair enough. I think I mean, to me, it looks like it could be a good capture. It's very subtle. I'm surprised that she saw this. Again, it's very washed out with bad lighting. It's the typical hot flash. A flash on a standard camera, the built-in flashes are only good for about 20 feet. And that's why everything within that frame is all hot. But in terms of photos, the white color is very hot as a reflection. It's very bright and it washes out the rest of the image, and that's why everything else in the darker background is very milky. And that's just a case of photography. If you don't have powerful lights that can illuminate the background, this is what you get. Get a real washed out front end and very muddy back end. I don't know if that was the greatest way of saying that, but anyway, work with me. I'm doing this on the fly. So, interesting image though. It's hard to tell because all the people lying to get their 15 minutes. Well, there's that Unknown, and I'm with you. I mean, what is it saying? A van? V-A-N? What does a van have to do with any of this? Huh. Okay, try again. I don't know what van means. Ghost box. I don't understand that word at all. But let me know. I wonder if I got that turned off. Yeah, I do, don't I? There it is. I'll put it up on screen so you guys can see it. It said van. Van. All right. So there we are with that one. Let's go to 21. Coventry Spectre. I have no idea what we're looking at here. Let's see what it says. Just want to look at it again. Is there anything here that looks like somebody standing on a chair there? I don't know what that's all about. That doesn't look right. I don't know if this is what we're looking at, but let's read the image. On January 22nd, 1985, the Coventry Freeman organization had a dinner at St. Mary's Guildhall in Coventry, UK. Breathe. Everyone in the group had bowed in prayer when this photo was taken, including a towering mysterious figure standing top left. So it is this figure, whatever the hell that is. But here's the headline of the people down below. And then there's this. I mean, it does look like it's standing on a chair. Okay, let's see. Where am I? The strange cowled specter appears to be wearing clothing much like a monk frock from another time. Lord Mayor Walter Brandish, who was present at the dinner, said no one at the event was dressed like that. He could not explain the presence of the interloper in the photo. St. Mary's Guildhall dates back to the 14th century and served as a prison for Mary, Queen of Scots. Wow. So, I don't know, this is one of those pretty old ones. Again, before the digital era, before the Photoshop era. What do you think we're looking at? Is that potentially a ghost, or are we just looking at a real bad exposure that's maybe misleading us to what we're looking at? I don't know. That's very strange. Van can mean of or from, like part of a name, Brent Van Thomas. Oh, okay. Well, still don't know how that relates, but it's interesting. I've never seen Van pop up on here before. Although, we've had some good feedback from the Ghost Box tonight in some interesting ways. So what do you think? 1, there's a real capture? Not so much. 0. I think it's too muddy to really tell for me personally. Yeah, there looks like a figure standing heads and shoulders above everyone. Barbara Mora's all in. She thinks that could be the deal. Aussie, not so much. I have no idea what we're looking at. Fair enough. Beth, I agree. It's kind of ambiguous in a lot of ways. Jackie Hall thinks it's possible. Cool. Okay. Sharon Sunshine, halfway there. Not sure what I'm looking at. Very grainy. Fair enough, Benno. I kind of agree. It's tough to say, but Zero, not sure. Man from the West, not sure as well. Okay. Gotcha. I don't know. It's certainly possibly a great capture. There may be a better version of this. What was this called again? I'll look at the Coventry Spectre, see if we can find something here. Coventry Spectre. That should maybe RE. Put an RE at the end. Let's go to images and see what pops up. Is there a better version of this? This is from mysticaltimesblog.com, Reddit. I mean, all of them are really washed out in the same way. This is apparently a closer image of that. And that really doesn't show. Looks like a face on his freaking shirt, whatever this is. Like there's an eye, there's a nose, and some mouth. Y'all ever heard of a blemmy? We've covered them on the shows before. They're these weird, I don't know if they're cryptozoological, but they're these weird things that have no head in the standard sense, but they have a face on their chest and stomach area. That's called a blemmy, yeah. I was like, is that a blemmy? Did they take a picture of a blemmy? I don't know. It's very strange, whatever the hell this is. But looks like a hoodie. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's something cooking up here, too. I don't know what's going on. Some really weird, but again, it's so grainy. It's just nearly impossible to make any kind of detail out of this. There's another shot. There's this one. It's strange. I don't know what to make of it. Looks like it could be someone standing on a chair. Who knows? I guess we're not going to get many answers here through the Google images, but it's worth looking at. So let me drag this over a little more again. Get it in the frame. That's the Coventry Spectre. So let's go to the Watcher. Oh, yeah. I remember this one. I think this could be a good capture. I remember this one from a long time ago. This one's called the Watcher, number 22. This photo was taken at Corroboree Rock in Alice Springs, Northern Territory, Australia, in 1959. What does not seem to be a trick of the light and shadow is a human form, semi-transparent, wearing what looks like a long white dress or gown. More curious, the figure seems to be holding something the way of a person holds a camera or binoculars. One possibility is this is a double exposure of a living person. In 1959, this ghost picture would have been captured on film. If it is not a double exposure and this is a spirit captured on film, then several questions arise. What is the entity looking for and why? Do they have cameras or binoculars in the afterlife? Or is this an instance of a time slip in which the camera recorded a scene from a different time? It's even been speculated that this figure might be a time traveler or an interdimensional being who has been photographed in the act of watching us. This is the image. It's, again, I'm going to see if I can find a better version of this. The Watcher. Let's see. The Watcher. Ghost photo. Let's see if it comes up. Oh, Australia. I'm trying to narrow it down a little bit here to see if... Oh, come on. Let's go to images. This is not it. Oh, here it is, I guess. Is this... Let's visit. I don't know what we're going to see here. I guess this is a much more zoomed in version. There's the apparition right there. And it's very translucent. I wouldn't say transparent. Transparent means you can see right through it like a window. Like if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know it was there. But translucent means that light passes through it. And it could just be pareidolia. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this potentially a spirit capture? This being the tall, translucent image of a woman, maybe? Or do you think, no, it's pareidolia or nothing? What do you think? 1, it's real. 0, not so much. Where you guys at with this one? And the source image is that I'm looking at right now is from panicd.com. Aussie's all in. Sharon Sunshine's all in. Bogart, not so much. Chucky says pareidolia. Could be. It is a really pretty just defined arm here, though. A bent arm looking like it's holding something up. Cryptic Crossroads, 3/4 of the way there. Man from West, 1. Adventures with Beth, halfway there. I see a man and a woman embracing. Oh, that's an interesting take. I don't see the man, but maybe that's there somewhere too. Rachel's in. T-Bone's in. Yeshua's in. Barbara Mora's in. She says, thanks, Chucky. Barbara thanked you, Chucky. Over on Rumble. So John Stevenson's all in. Michelle Wolfong's all in. Okay, yeah. I mean, it could be a great capture. I'm going to say that this one's been around a long time. Again, this is one that brings back my youth. I know I've seen this one in one of those old library books in the 3-foot section that I had available to deal with ghosts and hauntings and weird crap that I love. All right, there you go. Maybe let's look at the time, 8:35. Yeah, I got a few more things to go through, so I think we'll stop this one here, and we'll start up next time with the last few photos in this list. I guess it'd be Wednesday's show. So come back in, and we'll go through the last ones here. I need red circles, please. We all need red circles, Justin, I'm telling you. Life is easier with a red circle to let you know where everything is. Helps me.
Gemini.
Gemini, there you go, Wes. Talking about astrology things. It's a little out of sorts, but Gemini. Gemgwin in here? I don't know if it's relevant or not. That is interesting, though. Because astrological signs did come in. Are you saying you're a Gemini? Ghostbox, is that what you're saying? Are you one of my exes? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Just saying. What month is Gemini anyway? I'm Gemini, Michelle Wolfong says. Okay. Gotcha. Is he talking about Jim and I? No, it's the word Gemini. 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 Not Jim and I. Yeah, it's interesting. So I got to see what months Gemini represents. Let's check that out. Now I'm curious. May? No, well, I'm May in it. I'm a Taurus. But maybe, I don't know. What months are Gemini? Gemini. Let's see. It says May 21st to June 21st. Okay. So anybody born May 21st to June 21st, you're a Gemini. According to this. Okay. All right. Or June 20th, I guess. Got two varying answers. Wikipedia says to the 21st, but the AI says to 20th of June. End of May into June. Gotcha, Chucky. Don't poke the expert. I can't even touch that and remain a family show, so I'm going to leave that alone. Sorry, T-Bone. I'm not biting on that one. No way. No way in hell. Depends on the part of the month. Okay, gotcha, Beth. Thank you. So, Gemini popped up on the ghost radar. All right. Here's to Geminis. Love y'all. I mean it. All right. Oh, yeah, I remember. I was like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing here? I remember now. So I got a couple of things. I guess we'll close with the Bigfoot Crossroads because that leads us into the cryptid corner pretty well. Here's an apparition. This was shared by Macabrogd podcast. Brogd podcast. It says MACABROGT podcast. This was shared on their page. Looks like it's a Hispanic podcast. It's from Facebook. I would just recommend checking out their Facebook page. Especially helpful if you speak Spanish, but if you don't, I'm sure you can probably make do anyway. Because we all can just see cool things when we see them. So I'm putting it up on screen here. This also is part of, what the hell is that? This is a pretty crazy apparition. I watched this video Now, I will say this looks like a security cam, just a normal security cam. A lot of times they can be pretty unreliable and make it look like you're seeing ghostly images, and it has more to do with the refresh rate of the camera and how often it refreshes certain parts of the sensor. So there's a lot of false positives with security cameras recording these images that look ghostly. And I'm not suggesting that they're not, but they may not be. It has a lot to do with the refresh rate of the camera, the quality of the camera, and so many other factors that can produce ghostly images. What do you guys think? Well, you'll have to let me know. I don't know if there's a narrative to this or not, but I'll just play it. If it's got music, I'm going to have to cut it off. But here we go. Yeah, there's music. There's the image. I'll let it play through again. Look at that lean, though. That's a really weird stride. And look at how long those arms are. What the hell is that? I really don't know what we're looking at here. It is being really cropped for the sake of presentation in this tall format. I wish they would just keep it in the normal format. But it is very strange. Look at how long those dragging arms are. How it's leaning way far back in the stride. I don't know what we're looking at, folks. This is very, very weird. It's not as ghostly. I mean, it starts out really kind of transparent. But look at the length on those arms. There's obviously a dark head, though. Like some kind of, like a full head of hair. Maybe he's just a really bad runner and he's got problems with his legs being a little faster than his torso. I'm just throwing it out there. But it's almost cartoonish, but it's also really creepy. What are we looking at? What the hell was that? That's what I'm wondering. That's why I thought I'd share it with you guys. What are we looking at here? What do you guys think? Anybody got any ideas? Walking like they're drunk. I'm surprised they're staying upright, leaning that far back with the arms way far back like that as you're walking. Those are some strange strides. Now, could it be fake? Sure. Absolutely. I mean, we don't know what the arms are, if they're just weird extensions they're holding on to just to be bizarre, or if this is actually the weird thing. Watch the feet, how those dark splotches appear when it steps down, but then kind of disappear. Watch the steps. Black, but then it fades to nothing, then black. That's what's kind of got me weirded out. Are we looking at something supernatural or diabolical or what? I don't know. It's just really kind of creepy the way those black feet just appear when it steps down, but then disappear as it's walking. The arms give me the arms are creepy, Chuck. Yeah, I'll give you that. It kind of gives me the pale walker vibes or pale crawler vibes, but it's got a black head on it. Like it's got a full, huge wig on or something. I don't know. It's a very creepy video. I don't know what it is. I've not tried to figure out what this... Let me see if I can translate this. Give me just a second. Translate.google.com. Cámara, I'm sure, is camera. Cámara de seguridad. Seguridad. Graba una extraña entidad. So, I want to start with Spanish here. Might be security camera records a strange entity. That's what it translates to. Security camera records a strange entity. I agree. This is weird. I have no idea what the heck it is. Yeah, I'm with you, Aussie. I don't know either. Yeah, so that translates to a security camera captures a strange entity. Extraña entidad is strange entity. I did not know that before today, but now I know that. So there it is. Everything about that video creeps me out. Don't know what it might be. Me either. But the thing that really creeps me out the most is that these things might be out there. That's the kind of stuff that really changed the woods for me. The wild places for me. It's like, after dark, you just just go home. Just don't camp. Don't camp. Just go home where it's safe. That's all I'm saying. Am I like Shaggy? You betcha, Scoob. I'm just like not into tempting fate. Like, I don't want creepy things coming up, looking in my windows when I'm sleeping or whatever, you know. So there you go. I don't know what it is. I have no idea, folks. But that's what we got. That's what we got in this one. Oops, I got to bring my mouse over to the right screen. Got to turn this off because I'm going to shuffle cameras while I pull up the next one, because there's always more here on the portal, folks. That was weird, huh? I should have given you guys the link to that one. Sorry, I didn't. This one is a cool one. It was pretty new. It's from Cryptid University. We've covered a few of their videos lately. I like Cryptid University because they got a whole host of several videos in their Reels department on Facebook. So check out Cryptid University as well. Check it out. See what you think. Let's see. Okay. I'm pulling it over to the other screen, and we'll watch this one. I think is a potentially fantastic capture. But again, you be the judge. I got to look at the screen, make sure it's framed up pretty good. A little more over here. There we go. All right, let's check this out. This is the video. It's 37 seconds long. I think they caught something pretty spectacular. Now, at first it seems pretty mundane, but watch how the movements change as the video goes, and it becomes not normal in a hurry. So here you go. Maybe I should, no, I'll just do it this way. Here it is. Obviously night sky, zooming around, looking. And you'll see like I think a moth flew over already, but that's not what we're looking at. They do catch, that's the moth, okay? That object, watch this. They track it going over, they got the green laser going, and it's zooming pretty quick. Watch the motions now. Watch the motions. This is where it gets wild. See it flash and then boom, boom. Did a zigzag in like no time at all. Like it's avoiding that laser. And I think it's a great capture. Let's do it again. Watch the zigzag. Flash, boom. Just flashes and then boom. It's boom there and then there. It's like, I don't know. Nothing that we make can corner like that we know of. Unless it's some secret black projects or something. But I think this is a great capture. Looks like that's the only version. I didn't stop it in time to replay it. So there you go. Too fast to be a satellite? Absolutely. I think that's a great capture. Of course, you can always rewind the video, check it out. Again, I will put the link into the chat so you guys can check this out for yourself. If you're on Facebook, I think it's a great capture. I think this is really solid. Again, Cryptid University, which is maybe not so cryptid, but this video, it's more extraterrestrial or something. Abby Normal, yeah, similar to what I saw in 2009. Fantastic. Well, there you go. The links are in both chats that I can put them in, so that means they're in YouTube, Twitch, and in Rumble. I can't put it in the Facebook or the X, but there it is. Check it out. Maybe the laser was that Florida guy. I don't know. I mean, green lasers are used all the time. Hell, I got one right over here. I have shined it at the sky, but never had anything flashback. I thought I had it right here. It's around here somewhere. I got a mess on my desk, so. But I like that video. I think that's a good capture. And then I got one more for you on this, and then we'll start the cryptids. I think this one's a good. Oh wait, I got the one from Chucky. This is from Down the Rabbit Hole. This is actually perfect for the ghost pictures. I think this one's pretty cool. Down the Rabbit Hole is a pretty fantastic Instagram site. If you're on Instagram, go check out _down_the_rabbit hole. And I'll put a link in the chats again for this one. But I think it's a pretty good capture. In terms of a ghost photo, I think this is pretty good. Here we go. Here's the image. I hope you can see it. It's kind of crunched there. I got to shrink them down a lot to fit on this screen. And I can't just blow up the image. There's two of them here. The man between the parents is not supposed to be there. This guy. Wait, where is it? This guy right here. It says, creepy family photo with one person who isn't in the family. Who is this guy and where did he come from and why is he there? He's also got a really big head. Somebody put in a cone head emoji. He does have a huge head, right? Look at that peeking right between them. That's kind of disturbing. Yeah, it's kind of cute in a way though, because it's like, I'm here. Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I kind of think it's playful. Honestly, I don't think it's diabolical. I think it's more playful. Like, what's this? You know, and gets in the photo, but it's kind of humorous. Is that a ghost face? Well, it looks like one. I don't know any. I've never seen this image before today. I see there's 2 images here. What's the next one? Oh, this is a zoomed in. Look at those eyes, though. Come on, seriously? Maybe it's not so playful. That looks creepy as hell. But look at that head. Look at how big that head is. What? He's kind of got a smile like he's just cracking up. I don't know. That looks like kind of happy, right? But look at those eyes. They look like looking into your soul, for God's sakes. I mean, look at this typical old picture. The guy's like, yeah, okay, I'll sit for a photo. The mom's like, yay, photo. And then this grandpa's back there, or grandma is like, yay, photo. I don't know. Weird stuff, folks. But I think it's a pretty good image. Thank you, Chucky, for sending that over to me. I appreciate that. That's plenty creepy. I'll send you the link in the chats. If any of you are on Instagram, you can check this out for yourself. Talk about a forehead. Yeah, that's a 5 head right there. That's not a 4 head. I don't think it's that, Benno. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just somebody photobombing. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. How do I get out of there? There we go. All right, the link is in the descriptions or in the chats. You guys can check it out for yourself, get a better look at that, and follow down the rabbit hole. That's a pretty cool site. I know Chucky sends me links from there a lot, so obviously if Chucky likes it, it's a good site. All right, we got more. What do I got next? What was this one? Oh, that was TikTok. This is one I wanted to post from Rachel. This one kind of creeps me out in a whole different way. Because when I see this, this is not what it sounds like. When I see this in my head, it doesn't sound like this. But this is what it sounds like. You ever hear weird, you hear of weird stories in nature and how it's good to know what sounds animals make. Then there's this thing, whatever the hell this is. Some kind of growling bird from hell. I don't know. It's pretty, though. It's got really beautiful colors. But here you go. This is courtesy of Rachel. Let's have a look. What the hell? Listen to this thing. It's like some kind of emu or something. I don't know. I think there's more vocalizations. Maybe not. There's another video that's right next to this on their site. It's got even weirder growls, but that one sounded like a dirt bike. So they said Kawasaki or whatever. That one's kind of creepy. I did not picture that sound coming from that animal at all. I never would have expected that sound to come from that bird, ever. So there you go. You just never know what nature can do. Is that a cassowary? Is that the name of the bird? Cryptical Crossroads? God, they are just, I mean, they're beautifully colored. They're just striking, but that sound is just horrifying. I'm going to see if I can pull up the other one she sent. I thought there was another one. Wasn't there, Rachel? I think there was. I'm just pulling up my messages on TikTok, but it's being extraordinarily slow. Let me see. Where is it? I ended up scrolling way up on the things Rachel sent me. Is this the one? This is the one. Yeah, I'm going to pull up this one. This is the other one of this freaking bird. What the hell is that? That sound is awesome. I love the chair set. What the hell is that coming out of that bird? It's like it's firing like somewhere back by its feet and it's coming through its whole body and then getting that sound. That is crazy. That's not the sound it should make. That's, I mean, a squawk or something. That's freaking weird. It's like a muffler. It's like a really bad muffler. Well, there you go. That's from Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate those. I didn't expect that sound. I did not expect that sound. We're going to close up the What the Hell Is That segment now. And then we might be out of time, actually. But it has to do with Bigfoot, so it's kind of a melding, an amalgamation of What the Hell Is That and the Cryptid Corner. This is from the BBC archive posted by Matt Knapp at Bigfoot Crossroads podcast. It's the John Brinkley from British Columbia talks about Sasquatch. And I've not seen this before, so I'm going to see it with you. We're going to see it together. Let's see if it's framed up. It's a little small video. Again, these are old videos from the BBC archive, so they're quite old, and but still interesting. Bigfoot stories or experiences are evergreen as hell, like the Osman account from the early 1900s, Albert Osman account. It's 1920s that it happened, and yet it's just as relevant today. These things don't have a shelf life. All of these encounters are just as valid. So let's have a listen to the John Brinkley account from British Columbia.
Took off in the morning up in the hills for picking huckleberries. This place that we're going to is a place they call the 6 Mile Lemon Pass. Picked for a while, and as I turned around, saw a creature standing there looking at me. I thought at first it was a grizzly or a bear, but then I looked a little closer and I found out that it looked more like a human being. I'd say between 7-9 feet tall, probably weighing 500 or 600 pounds. It had nails on its fingers, and the hair on it is kind of a steel grayish color. So when he stood there and looked at me, I didn't tarry too long. I took off in a hurry down to the car, and well, that's the last I saw of him. Well, I took off in the morning up in the hills for pick.
So kind of a cool one, but maybe we got time for at least one story from Sasquatch Chronicles to close out the night. And I think we'll do that now. I think we will, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cryptid Corner. All right, I'm just going through this one. It's a little long, but I love it. August 4th. I'm not sure I didn't do that one already. Maybe we'll do this one. All right. From July 26th from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. I think I might have done the other one before. I think it had to do with a church camp, and I think we read that one before. So this one is coming from July 26th. I've had this one open a long time. All right. Well, we'll read it again. If it's a repeat, I do apologize, but here we go. July 26, Sasquatch encounters and other paranormal incidents. Let's see what it says. A listener writes, I've been wanting to reach out to you for a few years now since discovering Sasquatch Chronicles in 2020. If it wasn't for your podcast and listening to hundreds of encounters, I'd still have no clue that I've been around these things since as far back as I can remember as a child. As a kid, I will never forget the Patterson-Gimlin film. I knew immediately that Patty was a real live creature. Anyone that grew up in those days knew right away that Hollywood had no costumes of that quality. I say that to also say that as I got older, I never gave much thought to Bigfoots. As a kid, I thought they lived in the Northern California and at some point just went extinct. Never in a million years would I think that they were alive and thriving throughout the US of A. Least of all the South, so yeah, I was an absolute non-believer. And had a good laugh when somebody believed in them, and I'm sorry for thinking that way, and I apologize to anyone that is a believer or a knower. The biggest reason I'm writing for waiting so long to reach out to you is due to the fact that I worked for a 3-letter agency within the federal government. I love my job and would really hate to lose it. I would love to remain anonymous if possible, and I'm originally from Ohio, and both of my parents were from West Virginia. As a kid, we would visit my maternal granny every summer, and any time my mom would get my dad to take a vacation, mostly summers. This property, which is up a holler, has been in the family for at least a couple hundred years, and I believe these creatures have been there just as long, if not longer. I'd love to talk to you about, excuse me, drink. Hairball, sorry. Where was I? I'd love to talk to you about my experiences throughout my life and what I came to realize was Sasquatch finally in 2021, and some other paranormal experiences that I've had throughout my life. I do have to say that I only have actually had one sighting back between 2011 and 2013. The only reason that I can't pin the exact year down is due to thinking that my mom and I were looking at some really strange black bears in the back of the house from the kitchen windows in West Virginia and kind of just put it out of my mind. Between those same years, my husband and I were screamed, growled, hollered at. And it's very hard to describe because we've never heard anything exactly like that. And at the end of the sound reminded me of an ape. At that moment was the first time Sasquatch came to my mind. It was really odd to me because I didn't believe that these things were real. It scared me so bad that I left my husband for dead and never walked so fast to get out inside of my granny's house and locked the door behind me. There was zero fight. Also in West Virginia, same property. I also believe that while living in a rural area of Tennessee between the years of 2015 and 2020, we lived amongst them due to many strange occurrences we went through in that house. I'm truly thankful for being clueless and will explain why it's better that I wasn't aware. I do have a lot of paranormal things if you'd want to hear any of that. A nephew that brought something into my mom's home in Cleveland, Ohio, many years ago, possibly demonic. A story about some missing time in 2021, and can go into better detail about everything if you'd like to give me a call. I have a daughter that witnessed one of these light orbs that so many people have seen, but no one knows what they are. My daughter and I have our own thoughts on what they might be due to the thoughts she got when seeing one with her husband. She also agreed to speak with you about it since she witnessed it, and I didn't. If she isn't here, if you decide to call me, I can give you her number and a time to call. There's so much, and I'm ADHD, so I'm kind of all over the place and have a hard time putting it all in an email. Feel free to reach out to me anytime after 7 p.m. Central Time during the week and weekends. So there you go. Cool. Sounds like a whole host of experiences with the Bigfoots. She didn't even know it. Yeah, demons creep us all out. Hey, Jesse Garcia, good to see ya. Great to have you in here. So that's about it for the show, guys. Went a little over time, but I think it worked out okay because we started a couple minutes late. So it all averages out. The portal will give you 2 hours whenever we fill up 2 hours. That was a cough and a laugh at the same time. It didn't work out well. But that's what we got tonight. So thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey as always. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Whatever you do, just be close to the ones you love. Enjoy it. Wrap yourselves in light and wonder. And I will see you back here on Wednesday. So I hope you guys will join me. Dr. Johann Kraus, PhD, is in here. Good to see you. Good to see you, Dr. Johann. I think that's Johann, right? Am I pronouncing that right? Let me get my mouse over here. Dr. Johann Kraus. Okay. Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. So that's what we got for you guys tonight. Thank you all so much. Love of your pipes, Brent. Cheers. Oh, lube your pipes. I'm trying. I do a lot of talking. Usually, the funny thing is I'm sitting here a lot of times throughout the day, mostly quiet because I'm doing things. And then when I get to actually doing the show, I realize, God, I haven't talked much for the last 8 hours. And then all the hairballs come up then. So my apologies if I get raspy during the show. It's another great show. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Jim Gwynn. Appreciate it. That's what I got for you. So we'll see you next Wednesday. We do these live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook Live, on X, and Twitch. Yeah. So all 5 of those platforms. Thank you all for being a part of the journey, and I hope to see you back on Wednesday. So watch for it. They're all at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, whatever that means for your time zone. You have to sort it out. That's the journey. So good night, everybody. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. I'll talk to you next time. See you guys. Rolling the credits. Sorry, I do have to say, I'm sorry I haven't updated the member part of the credits, but they changed so much with the gifted memberships that I don't know how to keep up with it. So just so you know, you might be seeing those names up there. Some of you are still members, some of you aren't, but that's why. Good night, everybody.